Hello and welcome back, everyone, to Legacy of the Void StarCraft 2 campaign on Rocket Rabbit Commentaries. And in this episode, we'll be continuing on with The Host. We're already starting to build our first starport, and we're going to attempt to get into our next one relatively quickly. But we got to make sure that we've got enough minerals coming in, as well as, you know, having enough pylons in order to supply the fleet of void rays that we want. It is possible to do this mission with a total of, I want to say 10 1/1 void rays, at least on normal. But it's not going to be comfortable if you do it that way. We are expanding out here not because we want the resource base that's here, but specifically so that the front of our base isn't going to be constantly under assault by this particular void shard.
Destroy the void shards.
Now, the problem that I've got with the void shards rather specifically is that you'll notice like every half second or so that there's a red flash on our units. That is depleting our plasma shields. We're taking a small amount of damage every half second, as long as we're in the area that the void shards are. And yeah, it makes it so that ground forces, specifically Zealot Sentry, are not really viable for a majority of this map.
We got a problem back at home base.
No, we can't deal with the problem back at home base until this void shard's down, though.
We're gonna need to send a contingency force over.
Charge! Alright, void shard is down. Go home.
No, press back. Need help. SOS.
It's not really SOS. It's just, you know, it's just a cautionary thing.
Okay, SOB. You know, save our base.
All right, we have jump cutted to where we actually have our void ray fleet. Now we've got like 5 void rays in our advanced squad and 3 void rays at home. So we've got plasma shield 1. We're trying to actually have a constant push of well, actually it's only a single void ray out in this advanced force. But right now the big issue is that we don't actually have enough minerals coming in. I should be building additional probes at home, but to be perfectly honest, I don't think the additional probes at home are going to actually get me all that much additional minerals, which is why we're finally trying to take this particular base. Out here, you don't need this base for the record. If you manage to get a full, I believe it's recommended to get 18 probes at home. Once you have 18 probes at home, you should have enough. You should have enough minerals coming in to effectively make it so that you can pump out double void rays rather consistently.
Steady production.
The other small problem that we have to deal with is the fact that since we need the ability to actually have a forward force for both defense and offense, it's a bit difficult for us to actually have it's a bit difficult for us to manage psi restrictions. It's why one of the big Spiridoon passives that's really important to do is starting psi. That way you actually have the ability with both this mission and the next one to actually, you know, field the units that you need to be producing.
Hell yeah.
Like, given the surplus amount of Vespene that I have, I probably should be building Archons, but I've never been comfortable with Archons in StarCraft 2. I don't know why.
Locations surrounding Amon's farm that would serve as excellent forward outposts. Clear out the enemy, and our forces will provide you with additional support.
Yes, the landing zones part of this mission, extremely important, very, very extremely important even. And yet the only way I know how to do this rather consistently is by throwing void rays at them. This grounded force will actually take this particular landing zone, but not the next one. Matter of fact, I think we lose most of our forward force doing this.
Oh, there's a lot of. Well, I see our friends shaky hands. Shake hands with beef.
Now you'll notice that I'm not actually using time stop for this push, and that's mostly because this is I want to save time stop for either the next landing zone or actually pushing into the void shards themselves. because the void shards themselves are significantly better defended than the landing zones, and you know, you're constantly taking damage while you're in them, so it's important to mitigate that when you can. The initial wave that drops with the landing zones is honestly usually enough to push down one of the 4 void shards that are left, but pushing down the last one is always a hassle. Zap the Overlord. Thanks, Vorazun.
Done, Hierarch. My Nerazim are establishing a position now.
Yeah, Vorazun gets to ignore the fact that this area is still absolutely littered with creep. It's not fair. You'll notice that we only have a couple of Sentinel Zealots left in our forces after that.
Slow down.
Oh, look! This is actually being assaulted. We got to actually use Deploy Phoenix. Haha! Very nice.
Yay. And how long is Phoenix active for?
I think it's 90 seconds. Unfortunately, we used Deploy Phoenix as a defensive option, so he isn't going to help us. He isn't going to help us push against this particular Void Shard. And no, we don't get to control Phoenix on our own. What Deploy Phoenix actually does is it sends the hero unit Phoenix down from the Spear of Adun, but as an interesting tie into the lore, since he is his own unit as a member and a member of his own faction, specifically the Purifier faction, we don't get to tell him what to do.
Right.
He would actually be fighting with us right now if we had used him offensively, but we did not. We used him defensively.
I think you could have made a more steady advance over here.
No,
Time
well,
stop.
now that we've used time stop, this void shard is most certainly down. We're just waiting for it to fully collapse.
The Death Fleet descends.
Yep, get those checkpoints and get ready to restock your forces.
The Death Fleet descends.
Expect to hear the Death Fleet descends a bunch because we'll be using Void Rays for both this mission and the next mission. Raven. Now I specifically want to go over here and get the other landing zone for. I believe this is the Purifier's landing zone specifically.
I think your forces are a little too spread out now.
Well, they're not actually spread out at all, so I'm not sure what you're referring to.
Oh, because you got. Okay, so that's a.
I have a
expansion right there.
forward force and a defensive force. Those are my two forces right now.
The only two you need, baby.
The Death Fleet descends.
Keep the destroyer alive. It's the most important part of the unit composition.
Blink. Spit at the hybrid.
Getting plasma 3.
All right, the Death Fleet is all coming together.
Also, a thing that I'm not entirely sure that I've mentioned is that Stalker's Blink has got a shield recharge on it, like doubles the speed of which your shields recharge. Well, for I think it's 10 seconds. It's honestly a
sensitive.
very important steroid for Stalker combat.
Yeah, I'll say. I'm gonna force you to micromanage to get your blink off as consistently as you can. There you go. He blinked
Yep.
again.
The Nerazim join the fight.
Yeah, Vorazun. What that means is that her original forces got taken down, and she's deploying another one. Thing is, from here on out, what is the faction that I'm pretty sure they're still actually referred to as a Dark Templar faction? But yeah, the Dark Templar faction, Nerazim, yeah, the Nerazim faction. Their attack waves are actually much smaller than they were originally. But yeah, that is the Purifiers. Thank you.
Let us keep up momentum. I decided to go back to main base. I will.
Well,
give
I'm not
you
going back to
assuring
main
notes.
base. I'm trying to push with the Nerazim here, but you see, the Nerazim are already taken down because they sent like 4 stalkers and an Archon.
Your purification is at hand.
Right.
I serve the death fleet.
All right, that's 16. That's 16 void rays. Well, yep, we're advancing now. Woohoo!
Charge! Floats towards victory. Unite.
Unfortunately, our void rays got caught up on the enemy supply base that is right next to ours. So now we have to help them get rid of it. There.
Boom, baby. Zap. Dun 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 bum bum.
I mean, we're not really the evil empire. We're just using the evil empire's units.
The
void shards are growing increasingly unstable. Engage them cautiously. We do not fully understand their power.
And what she means by that is use deploy Phoenix offensively. Damn it.
Take out that crystal before it takes out all of your units simultaneously.
Thankfully, Phoenix actually is tanky enough to absorb a majority of the damage over time that the void shards dish out without much issue.
Almost there.
Yay!
And so we have stopped the incoming damage per second.
The third shard has fallen before us.
Which is nice. Oh, now we just got to go rescue the Tal'Darim.
You have gotten the checkpoint. Thank Christ.
Yes, as Pascal mentions here, deploying Phoenix is expensive, but it's almost always worth it because he just rips through weaker encampments, at least on normal. I think on hard and brutal specifically, he isn't honestly worth investing in, like all of the other abilities on that tier are just significantly better. But I like having deploy Phoenix because it's a nice touch of lore in my opinion. I find it odd that Amon is actually still using Protoss forces though, because canonically the Golden Armada isn't here and the Tal'Darim have all shipped in with us. So I'm not entirely sure if these are stragglers that were already here, or what the deal is with the Protoss forces that are currently on Iron. More than likely, these are just forces that were originally converted during the start of the campaign when he corrupted the Kala, but I'm not entirely sure.
Amon's downfall is at hand. Tal'Darim, your High Lord demands the Dark God's blood. Do not disappoint me.
All 3 forward positions have been secured.
Yay!
Now, let us bring an end to Amon.
Well, not yet. We gotta take out 2 more void shards, everybody. Haven't you been paying attention to the main objective time encounter? Oh boy. Oh, big boys marching in.
Big boys isn't really a good descriptor for the Ultralisk, honestly, because it's a grounded unit and we've got void rays against him. So
yeah. Just don't tell the stalkers that.
Yeah, the stalkers don't actually do that well against Ultralisks, but this
I'm
is
not
one of the big problems,
surprised.
though, is that if you've got your force on attack move, they end up crashing into some carriers, they'll end up focusing the interceptors down instead of the carriers themselves, despite the fact that, once again, carriers are very fragile. So it's always a good idea to micro your units to focusing down the carriers rather than taking down the interceptors.
My brothers, fight with all you have.
Yep.
No, only
one more.
one void shard remains. Do you think our force is enough to do it, especially since we just blew time stop?
Yeah. Alright, we just
What-
gotta
I
go
think
up a
deploy
little
Phoenix is
further
what,
north.
100? No, it's only 50. Okay, so we can use deploy Phoenix on the next major engagement.
Send reinforcements now. Victory is at hand. Gotta keep up the pressure.
No, make sure to take down the pylons. That way, Amon doesn't have the ability to warp in stuff. Yeah, I still love Void Race.
I miss these killers of players' confidence, bravado.
Deploy the Phoenix. Kill the battle cruiser. The one problem that the Phoenix has as a unit is that he has no dedicated anti-air options. As such, the only way he's going to take down flying units is if you deploy him on top of them. I mean, I think that the deploy Phoenix on top of a flying unit does like 400 points of damage, which is enough to take down a majority of capital ships. But the enemy doesn't like to stack their capital ships on top of each other, so you usually don't get all that many with it. That's the sound that Big Bertha makes, but Big Bertha isn't in this game.
Alright, just piss away that health bar. We got this.
Do we, though? We only have 7 Void Rays left.
Yeah, what the fuck happened to them?
Oh, there's a carrier and some Brood Lords and the damage over time.
Oh, we got it. We got it.
3
Yeah.
Void Rays left. 2 Void Rays left. We entered this conflict with fucking 40 units, and we barely survived. 1 Void Ray left. Jeez, Alarak, you're fucking late.
Yeah, the end of my forward attack force. Oh, but the mission's over.
No. Amon's form has awakened.
It was all for naught.
It's not all for naught. I mean, sure, he's got a super laser, but we've got all the factional bonuses on hand, so. And let's put those factional bonuses to use, Mr. Cloud. Cybros, Spear of Adun. Unleash your fury. Laser beams.
Laser beams. Yay. Yeah, feel it, son.
We have cratered Ire. Woohoo!
Amon's host has been destroyed. Ready the keystone, Karax. Our final stand approaches.
And in the next episode, we will start the end.
The end.
I think it's called Reckoning, but yeah. Be safe, everybody.
This is the end. Beautiful friend.